Hello, welcome to the last installment of Thief 1, where we're on Level With Me, where we are playing through different games, talking about what is going on with the level design with them. And like I said, we're on the last mission of Thief 1, or Thief Gold, the Thief Gold remaster. And that mission is called Into the Maw of Chaos. So let's get into it. I'll just restart it so we can look at the briefing again. To review what's happened in the past, like 16 or 17 missions for the past few months, we've been playing Thief. And we have been stealing a bunch of stuff and sneaking around in the shadows. And then maybe a few missions ago, we started talking to this weird guy who wanted us to steal this thing called the Eye, and then the Eye was part of his dark project to
Well, this is it.
bring
The
scary
Hammers say
monsters
they've
in.
received word that Constantine's descended into his realm to perform a ritual with the Eye. The Hammers have built me a booby-trapped counterfeit eye.
Booby trap.
If I can swap it for
Booby
the real
trap's such a
thing,
great
it should
word. I
cause
love
him
it.
some trouble. If he doesn't notice me. I've never robbed a god before. It'd be a
And we're just
challenge.
rocking out to this music. Serious business. There's usually no music like that during the briefings. That's how you know this is like the big climax. But I think altogether, this mission is probably maybe like middle of the pack or lower, just because you'll, when we play it, you'll see that it's very linear. Like, we're going to be following basically one long tunnel, one long corridor throughout the entire mission. It's also just kind of short and kind of like not that interesting, and it's kind of disappointing in terms of like layout. But some of the details and some of the architecture is pretty interesting, and some of the set pieces are kind of interesting. Like, there's like a weird swimming puzzle kind of halfway through the mission, which is interesting. But altogether, I would say, yeah, this is probably not most people's favorite Thief mission, and you might even say it's a little bit disappointing because it's the end of the game and it doesn't really go out with the bang. It's kind of like, it's not really a whimper either. It's somewhere between a bang and a whimper, whatever that is. A woof? A bark? I don't know what that is, but you'll see. So our objectives here are we have to go down into the Maw of Chaos, whatever that is, and then we have to swap out the fake eye for the real eye in the ritual room. And we'll see what that is. I'm playing on hard difficulty. On expert difficulty, you have to do one additional puzzle that's very like trivial. Like, the expert difficulty objective we'll just complete because we might as well, because it's totally on the way. So it's kind of disappointing what the expert difficulty objective is, but let's keep going. So first we start in this scary room, and then you see a monster already walking towards you. So you're like, oh shit, I need to hide in this shadow right here. And due to complaints from the stream, I've turned down the monitor gamma so that it's more appropriately dark for those of you watching at home. Hope you enjoy it. But there's a weird mantis bug beast and an ape beast walking into a portal. And we probably just shouldn't stay here. We should probably leave. So let's do that. Then when we walk through here, we immediately see this gas arrow and this purple tunnel away from this brightly lit critical path. So I think most players' instinct will be to definitely go inside this purple tunnel, because it also gives you a gas arrow. Gas arrows are very like valuable tools and resources in Thief. So whenever you see a gas arrow, that's like a really valuable piece of equipment you want to collect. And you can also see there's just constantly always guards and monsters walking along this path. So that's another reason why you don't want to stay on this main critical path right here. Because you don't want to get caught by those monsters. So I guess we'll stay on this purple path right here. But let's wait until those monsters pass and then we'll keep going. The purple tunnels in this level are pretty interesting. This level is probably the closest thing to like a Zen. If you're familiar with Zen from Half-Life 1, Zen is kind of the end part of Half-Life 1 where you're in this weird alien world where there's never any like straight angles or 90-degree corners. It's always very curvy with like jagged architecture everywhere. Same idea here. This is supposed to be like a very disorienting kind of space. I don't hear anyone, so let's just run down here, I guess. Oh, I hear someone coming up. Let's wait for them to pass. It sounds like he's like prancing in heels. That's what the sound sounds like. I feel like I'm on like a voguing ball or something. He's doing the walk. And also, even if we did get caught by these creepy weird monsters with their creepy cool walk animations, I have like 2 gas arrows now. I can just shoot the gas arrows, which will instantly KO them. So it's not even really a big deal if you get caught by these monsters. And also the game is giving you just these really obvious purple tunnels to walk through that are pretty dark and safe. I don't hear anyone. Let's go. Like, I guess it's slightly dangerous if you just get caught out in a bright place, but this is the last level of Thief, so by now most players are pretty skilled at sneaking around, spotting which shadows they can hide in and which shadows they can't hide in. I don't hear anyone. Maybe I should just go for it. Just gonna wait for that guy to turn around. Although, again, I don't know, it doesn't really matter that much. Oh shit, there's someone coming right now. And then there's just so much shadow on this path anyway. One thing I do like about this is that it was probably pretty difficult to build. Anytime you're playing a game from this 90s era, there's just really... Anytime you see any like curved tunnels, that was just annoying to build because you get a lot of floating point errors as well, and you just get all these weird, awkward gaps in geometry where the player would also get stuck a lot of the time as well. So these days we take terrain and caves and stuff totally for granted, but... But you know, back then, it was a serious commitment to build out all this. Is there someone coming? Oh yeah, it looks like there's someone coming. The other thing I like about this, like, cave, tunnel, stairs, ramp part is that we are constantly descending down, and that's setting a setting a dynamic for this entire level where we're constantly going to be going downwards. So even if you were to get lost somehow in this level, you would just know that you just have to keep heading downwards. And as long as you can keep heading downwards, you'll be okay. Now I'm in this other dark cave. We go over here, we can watch what happens. So over here, we're transitioning from this part into the fire cave part. Oh, and I'm totally neglecting my favorite part of this mission. The best part of this mission is the map screen, probably. Because the map screen here is just like... It's like everything we've been talking about for these past few months, where the map screen in Thief is never like a literal thing. It's always often like this figurative thing where it's just kind of telling you the relation between different objects, or sometimes you have to read hieroglyphs or kind of like guess what the map meant. Here it's just totally symbolic, totally figurative, totally this weird metaphor where we're going down these weird stairs, down this weird lava, past these crystals, and this weird like tree cave thing, and then we're gonna pass by this cube, and then this weird molten thing, into this weird womb with a creepy like demon fetus or something. Beautiful, gorgeous. It's like so good. Like, I wish maps in games were often more like this, were often more figurative, were often more about interpreting like the space around you. I think this is just like a master stroke of mini maps in games. And it's a shame games didn't really follow Thief in this respect. Most games ended up taking like the hide in the shadows and sneak past AI parts of Thief, but the other parts of Thief are like just as valuable for taking, like this map screen. But anyway, what we're doing right now is we're seeing, you can watch, there's a little ape beast in that little bubble cocoon that's like floating upwards, and we're kind of experiencing the like machine here, where it's kind of this factory assembly line where the bubble brings the monsters safely through the lava tunnels, and then once they're through the lava tunnel, they can safely march off to that portal where we started. So it's a reverse engineering of this kind of like factory setting. Half-Life 1 also has a similar gesture towards like an alien factory place. On the chat, Goat asks, can you pop the bubbles with broadhead arrows? And the answer to that, I'm pretty sure, is no. I think they're like protective, like shell, cocoon, magic barrier things, unfortunately. Just keep walking around. Just, this is like a pretty great scene. Like, I love the idea that you start in that small tunnel and then it opens up into this giant, huge lava cavern. Very unexpected, or not super unexpected, but still like surprising in its own way, just in terms of the scope of it, but also in how we're traversing it. Just have to keep following this path. Again, it's very hard to get lost in this level. You just keep going downwards, and it's a very linear route, which is what makes some people dislike this chapter. I also love the reuse here, where we're constantly coming back and through the same room, checking it from different angles. That's what's nice about like taking a walk. You know, like, you know that thing where you like go outside sometimes and you like take a walk and just take in nature and the sight lines and stuff. This is speaking to that experience a little bit. It's fun to keep spiraling down through this creepy lava cavern thing. Oh, and then there we see another little beast bubble. I mean, I can try to shoot a broadhead arrow at it. I don't think it's gonna do anything. Oh no, that didn't help at all. I just wasted an arrow. Well, I tried. Keep going. And now we enter this crystal room. Because, you know, crystals, lava, it's all the same thing. And this is where it helps to read the papyrus that you start with in your inventory. And the papyrus is a hint from the Hammerites, I guess, from the people we met last week in that last mission. It says, "Beware thee, the rock of crystal, the song of doom. The heart of mortal man is weak against its siren call." This guy's like really into the crystals, right? It's almost like a metaphor for like crystal meth, maybe? I mean, every game is always a gay allegory, so this is obviously, Garrett, gay. This is obviously a metaphor for like the gay community's like relationship with crystal meth through like the 80s and 90s. But as we keep going, as near thou drawest, the rock waits until thy heart is close for its strike and thy fate is sealed. That's all just fancy speak for don't touch the fucking crystals, okay? Just don't touch the fucking crystals. On the chat, Anthony Caldwell says this was made in California, so that might speak to the crystal meth references. No, I think Looking Glass was... A lot of Looking Glass comes out of MIT, which is in Boston, or Cambridge, I should say. So I'm pretty sure Looking Glass was based more in the Boston area. And that's also why Irrational Games also kind of grew in the Boston area as well. So these crystals, you shouldn't touch them. And here's what happens when you touch them. Ow! That's a really sharp crystal, or it burned me or something. It's not really clear what that crystal did to me. But the point is, don't touch it. It hurts. But this is maybe the one place in Thief where they play with low friction surfaces, where walking around on the snow or the ice is kind of slippery. So you have to be careful, don't go too fast, because then you'll slip and slide right into some crystal meth and hurt yourself. So you should not. You should be careful. It's a very low friction ice rink kind of thing. But what I'm doing here is I'm collecting some water arrows. You might notice every area has its own kind of like arrow theme. Before we were collecting a lot of gas arrows. Now we're collecting a bunch of water arrows. And if you're playing in expert mode, it's very compulsory and very important that you collect some water arrows. Because you need at least one arrow of each element to complete the optional objective. We'll complete the optional objective just for fun, though. And down there you can see some exploding frogs. Exploding frogs are probably one of my most favorite enemy designs in Thief. Oh my god. They've seen me and they're hopping towards me. Oh my god. Damn, he got me. Although it didn't hurt that much. Oh well. So I think the idea with that set piece was the exploding frogs would encourage you to just run fast. Oh my god, and when you run fast, you end up down here. Oh shit! And then you slide down.
Try that again.
You slide down that slope, and maybe to your death against these jagged crystals. So I think that was the idea with putting frogs there, to try to get you to rush through that section and run past them, and then when you run past them, you end up oh shit, the frog's coming for me. Okay, I'm gonna run down here. The water arrows are also important for this section. Oh shit, because there's a lot of fire elementals here. And you have to put them out with your water arrows. Is the frog still coming after me? I think it's okay. What's tricky about this section is that you have to get the fire arrows here. And then, oh my god, the frog is still coming after me. Oh shit. Oh my god, that frog is relentless. Oh my god. So you have to get the fire arrows here, and they're hidden on these ledges. Oh my god. The exploding frogs you might remember from a previous section. Oh, and then over here's like a creepy blood vine, like fleshy blood vine cave. And here we see more bug bubbles floating up. Okay, let's keep running so that the frog doesn't catch us. Let's put some distance between us and that frog. It's one of the best frogs in games. Just Google frogs in games, and you'll come up with the Catamites page about frogs in games. It's very comprehensive. I think Catamites might have missed the frog, though, which is probably one of my favorite frogs in games. Next to that frog in Star Fox. But anyway, we're in this weird blue crystal lava section, and we have to be careful to remember to get fire arrows. Fire arrows are also a very valuable commodity in Thief, in case you've missed our previous sessions. And to draw your attention to those fire arrows, there's also these little particle systems next to these little fire arrow caches right here. So that's pretty helpful to like draw your attention to it. But now we have like, how many 10 fire arrows? That's a lot. We've never had this many fire arrows in any other part of Thief before. And also just notice that the walls are and floors are still very jagged and very like naturalistic, or as naturalistic as they can get in 1998. And we're still following this downwards trajectory, which still feels like super cool to me. And now, oh, there's this big drop. I love these big drops because these are pretty rare in Thief. And now it's like a snowboarding section. I wish... Oh, shit. I snowboarded to my death. Garrett should have been wearing a helmet. That's not safe. I guess I was going too fast. These sections are pretty easy though, because all you have to do is hold backwards walk, and when you're holding like S or the down arrow on your keyboard and you're walking backwards, that slows you down enough to easily just grab this ledge, instead of snowboarding literally to your death. That's not cool. Always wear a helmet. Oh, and here's some helpful fruit. Don't mind if I do. Fruit restores our health. Fruit is good for you. Oh, no, wait, no. I just heard fruit is bad for you because it's basically just like sugar, but the fiber's good for you. It's juice that's bad. Don't drink juice. Just gonna snack on some more fruit. So we have to figure out our way down from here, but I think when we jump down, it shouldn't be too far down. Why does fruit grow down here? Toasty asks, or Tin Kelp asks. No, Toasty is asking, why would fruit grow down here? You know, it's a nature chaos god, you know? Fruit grows anywhere when you're a mad nature god. How do I descend down here? I got the fruit, the very well-lit fruit. Look at that lighting job. Or maybe, yeah, the crystals are giving off light. It's fun to think about the ecology of this. I think we have no choice but to descend from here, but to just be a little bit more careful. Scoot on our butt instead of just sliding full speed downwards. There, that was much safer. And now we've reached this giant pedestal made of crystal. Does it still hurt me? Oh yeah, it still hurts me. Don't touch the glowing blue thing. Glowing blue things are pretty bad for you, too. Worse than juice. And then up here we see an upside down waterfall, and this is where the swimming puzzle that I alluded to was. We're already kind of halfway through the mission, believe it or not. And we have to swim backwards, upside down. And if we look on our map, look, we're on the waterfall crystal side. Yay. So we have to swim back up onto that water pool that's in the ceiling. So Let's try to do that. We're gonna come out of that water pool in the ceiling. So here we're in this swimming puzzle. It's an upside down waterfall. To me, this is also a callback to the first mission of Thief, Lord Bafford's, where you take that sewer tunnel. This is basically just another sewer, but like a fun sewer, you know? It's an unusual sewer filled with upside down sewers. So that means it's okay. And now we're just gonna swim upwards to this pool. And now we're in the ceiling sewer. I have to watch out. I don't want to stick my head downwards, because then I think I'm gonna fall down. So I think I'm gonna have to just keep going through this natural upside down sewer. Maybe I'll stick my head through here though to get some air. You can see my air in those bubbles right here. Also, best air meter in games, I think. More games should have more bubbles. Bubbles are good. Crystals, abstract mini-maps. A lot of design lessons from Thief went unheeded, I think. Just keep swimming through all these caverns. Not much to see here. Very boxy caverns. Because we somehow have to twist our way back up here. And then descend into that pit to fall in this other waterfall. And there we are. And over there we see some 8 beasts. Maybe one of our few encounters with guards in this entire mission.
Now that's big.
Oh, he's talking about the tree. Right. Okay. Yeah, that is big. What kind of dad joke is that? That doesn't even make sense. Look at that tree. It's so big. What does that even mean? Why would you even mention that? That's like very obvious, Dad. Okay, let me just boop this guy. And then I guess we have to climb up this tree somehow. Do we have rope arrows? We could try rope arrows, but rope arrows aren't really ideal here. I mean, they are, but we'll see. Oh, there's another guard. I'm just gonna wait in the shadows here, which is I think what most players would do, unless they were speedrunning. And then we booped those dudes, and now we can keep going. But yeah, look at that tree. That's a big tree. And then if we go here, you can see the tree is full of spiders. It's giant poisonous spiders. It's one of those fucking Australian trees that's just full of things that are waiting to kill you. So this is where those fire arrows come in handy. Except I can't hit any of those. Oh my god. Can't really hit any of these spiders. They're very... There we go. Okay, there all the spiders are gone. This is a spider-free stream. Oh, and some fruit. Spiders have no use for fruit anyway. Or do they? Maybe spiders do eat fruit. So what's really important here is, in this, you have to go inside the tree to be able to collect these moss arrows. Because we do want to collect at least one arrow of each element type. Not that you really need moss arrows in this mission because there's so few guards to sneak around. It's not really a big deal. I don't think I can mantle up here. I think I have to shoot a rope arrow here. Where are my rope arrows at? This is basically the one instance when you will be using rope arrows in this mission, which is a little disappointing, considering it's one of people's like favorite parts of Thief. I think this section's interesting because it's the one time where we're flipping the script a little bit. We're not descending downwards and downwards because we're in the tree section, and in the tree section you obviously climb trees. You never descend into trees. That wouldn't make sense. So here we're going upwards instead of downwards. Oh shit. Yeah, Toasty brings up a good point in the chat. It could have been an upside down tree, right? Oh, 2 people brought that up. Yeah, maybe it could have been an upside down tree, huh? That would have been really cool. Well, that's unfortunate. Missed opportunity. And here's a creepy section where there's like a million spiders in this room, and you can hear like a million of them. This section, it's easiest to just keep running. Just run for your dear life. Oh my god, there's like a million spiders after me. I'll just keep running, and then the spiders can't chase you across this fake lava bridge. And you turn back, and you just see angry spiders shaking their fists at you. Haha, fuck off. And as we keep going through the lava bridge, I think part of the reason why there's this magic bridge is so that you can, so that the spiders can't chase you across this bridge. The other reason why there's this magic floating lava bridge is so that you'll look down, and when you look down, you notice more bug beast bubbles floating along, similar to the other bubbles we've been seeing throughout the rest of the level. So it's nice when the level is consistent like that, right? It commits to this idea that we're watching this weird monster factory move through all these tunnels, and it really just keeps going. It never really forgets. We might have forgotten that, but the level designer didn't forget. Also really weird spotlighting, but that's okay. You know, we're in this weird spiritual realm, so who knows. Then we're in this other weird room that's just full of traps that will kill you. I believe the way around this one is to just... Well, you can't walk too much on the side because then you'll fall to your death. But I think the way around this is to not walk in the middle because then you'll get hit. I think it's best to walk on the edge. And then I believe you just barely make it underneath all these trap laser bolt things. Oh yeah, in the chat, Vinceft mentions that the bubbles are kind of also reminiscent of the last part of Half-Life 2, where you're watching a bunch of people in these like pods being moved around a machine. So it's a similar kind of thing. It's conceptualizing the boss level. They have to explain where all these monsters and guards come out of, right? So then they show you the machine that produces this and how you're going to be destroying the machine. Kind of like anarchist and socialist in a sense, right? a focus on like not just destroying like a single boss figure, but you're destroying the machinery of like an institution as well. And here, I think most players would also wait in this dark section because you get a really long sight line. You see these two guards coming towards you. It's easy to just sit here, wait for them to pass you, and then boop them when they pass. So just absolutely just trivial difficulty here. It's not really... For a last mission, I mean... Okay, so in games, usually when you're pacing your whole campaign and level design, it's often good to make the last mission easier than the second to last mission. And the reason you do that is that you get the player feeling kind of like triumphant, so that they don't have to struggle for that last section, so that the player does feel a sense of mastery over what's happened. And maybe that's an inflated sense of mastery, but you still kind of want that. And maybe that's why this mission is just so much easier than the past missions we've been playing. I don't know. I do like this room. This room is just totally no gameplay purpose as well. This is the level designer showing off their like organic sculpting skills. And I don't exactly know how difficult this would have been to make in the Thief level editor, which was called DromEd, but in like a Half-Life era or Quake era level editor, this would have been really difficult to do, I think. Like sculpting all these different slopes and having it kind of all feed into each other like this to seem very like naturalistic would have been really hard to do. So I admire the skill here, but that also maybe explains why I think the detail density on this is off. It's mostly a bunch of really big shapes. It's no small details. I think I would have preferred a little bit boxier architecture in exchange for like smaller rocks and pebbles and smaller shapes. Notice we're still descending downwards. Not that we will have gotten lost there, but still keeping the trend of just this downwards thing into hell, into the Maw of Chaos. So here we are near the pool. We're near the bottom of this pool. And as we walk over here, this platform is just totally in shadow. It's like pretty much impossible to get detected by those two guards on the platform here. And this is also where you would complete the optional expert objective of this level, which is to destroy this portal. And I forget exactly how you get the clue to destroy this portal. Like, it might be... Maybe when you start an expert, they give you an extra papyrus that tells you what to do here. But I just remember from playing this before that you have to shoot each of those elements. You can see there's a fire element, an air element, a water color, and then like a weird brown mossy color. You have to shoot those with its opposite to destroy the portal. So let me try to hit. This is why you need at least one of each type of arrow. You hit. Oh, that was terrible. Okay, let me try to do this one. Okay, there. I hit the fire one. And over there looks like a gas element, so I'm gonna hit the gas one in that upper left with a earth element. Oh god, that was terrible. Okay, let's try that one. Oh my god, okay, let's try this one. There we go. Then we have to hit the water with our fire arrow. Let's see, I think that'll be good. No, too high, I think. Oh wait, no, oh that's not bad, okay. Then we hit the earth one with our gas. And to be clear, this isn't like totally out of the blue. Oh, now the portal's destroyed. Previous Thief missions, like especially those mage towers and stuff, have hinged a lot on thinking about these different elements and arrow types, so it's not totally out of the blue to like try to do this random puzzle with your arrow types. But it's still kind of underwhelming. Like, oh, okay, it was that easy to destroy the machinery, and I literally didn't have to go out of my way at all to do this, so oh well. Before we go further, let's just admire the architecture in this room. Some nice cave shapes here. I love it when I love these, like, you know, pillars. You do these pillars by doing two cones, like one upside down cone like this, and then one cone like this, and then you put a cylinder in the middle. So that's how they made that pillar, and that's how you would do a lot of these cave shapes from the 90s. If you play these 90s first-person games, you'll see a lot of that. And those are just like fun to make. I miss making those. I miss working in a low poly mode. Let's see, anything else to look at here? Nothing really, we're pretty much done here. To help attract your attention though, there's some like crystals here, so you know, just the color contrast here. It's also really bright, there's guards, there's all these different things pulling your attention here, so it's kind of nice that they thought to do the composition of that. Oh, in the chat, Anthony Caldwell says, interesting thing about games that use BSP, which is our shorthand word for like these kinds of like jagged, low poly environments, that didn't use idTech. idTech is the Quake engine. They didn't care that much about angles, so even if it caused performance issues, the compiler would ignore the angles or not even think about it. That makes sense. I talk about this in the Half-Life stream, but mapping for those levels, mapping for those engines was very reliant on sealing the entire level. You need to have an airtight level so that it could do visibility, culling, and optimization. Oh, let's just climb these vines. I like the transition to this greenish rock. This greenish rock is one of my like favorite cliff rock textures in all of games, probably. It just has gorgeous shapes. Look at the shapes on it. It's like a perfect blend of like medium and high frequency detail. Then we descend down here, climb down these vines, because if you ran out of rope arrows, then I guess you would have to rely on these vines. And then I think the reason they did that is so that they could set up a hardcore like viz blocker right there, visibility blocker, to cut off this pretty high detail, high poly room. And over here we see the trickster doing a ritual.
Vine grow and twine, green and curl, chokes and bind, leaves unfurl, thornsy spine, tumble wall, wreath in bind, cover all.
I mean, if you really want to be safe for this section, we need to sneak over to that middle section and replace the eye. So, I mean, we can shoot some moss arrows to make that a little bit easier, but this is kind of the boss fight of Thief, so to speak, where if we look at our objectives, we have to swap the real eye with the replica that the Hammerites crafted. We have to pull an Indiana Jones kind of thing
Black and blow,
to destroy the ritual.
pushing dust, storm clouds grow, doxy clouds, lightning throw, misty shrouds,
First,
breezy snow.
it's so like, this section is so easy. You just run in the middle, swap out the eye, and then shoot a rope arrow up, and then climb up there, and then you're done. But that's no fun, so let's experiment a little bit with this. First of all, I've never actually played this mission and been alerted the boss. So let's see what happens if we alert the boss.
Flame burning heat, fences
Oh, you can't even shoot arrows at him.
Black and tan, man flesh, leafy melting ears, lives you still. Man fool's fear come to reap. Call the fire.
He's not even like
call
bleeding
the
or
red,
anything.
Brings thee forth, past not dead.
Oh god, he's covered me in webs. Oh my god, and he's shooting these weird frog monsters at me. Oh my god, oh my god. This is the worst experience of my life. Oh my god. And now he's spawning a fireball to shoot. Oh my god. Okay, so it turns out you should not just run up and try to shoot him in the dick with arrows. It's not gonna work, because then he's gonna cover you in webs, which the game doesn't use ever. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, that, like, UI indicator that I've been covered in webs. And then spawns these weird, ugh, okay.
Storm black and blow, swirling gusts.
So you've seen what happens if you just totally royally screw up, but look around you. There's just so much shadow in this room to hide in, and he walks so slowly that you have plenty of time to do whatever you want. It's like so easy, I guess. So again, all we have to do here is swap out the eye. Then we have to go hide somewhere, and it basically, the game literally tells you, wait for the ritual to finish, and just watch what happens. So let's shoot a little rope arrow up here.
Man fool's fear come to reap. Call the fire, call the red, brings thee forth, past not dead.
And now we have a pretty good viewpoint to just watch what happens. This is another reason why the mission kind of like putters out a little bit, because you complete the objective and now the game is telling you to just sit there and wait for this scripted sequence to finish. And that's not, that probably was not the best call on the part of the level designers and game designers here. It's weird when the end of a game tells you to just wait there and like do nothing and like twiddle your thumbs and stuff. It's just pretty disappointing. Like, I love Thief, don't get me wrong. I love a lot of parts of Thief, but this was probably a bad design decision, I think. You see them regret this a lot in Thief 2, where the ending of Thief 2 is just totally different, where you're doing all the, it's a giant, complicated set piece, and then you're doing all this contact with the villain, and it's totally a different dynamic and tone for the end of Thief 2. So I feel like they really did regret what happened here, and they totally changed what they did for Thief 2 to do the opposite kind of end level, where it's kind of difficult, complicated, and big payoff.
Black brick lamp done with bright dew and damp, smother tight, dark.
Okay, yeah, okay, so maybe one alternative here
Call the black, brings thee forth, I call it back.
is that they did a lot of play testing here, and originally it was a lot more complicated. And when it was a lot more complicated, oh, now he's finally doing it.
Open my way. Open the path. Open for me. Open.
I mean, great voiceover, but looks like he's just super drunk. Like he got totally like super high on those fumes. and now he's just passed out. And then that's the end, and the game just stalls. And you're like, okay, just super awkward. I don't know, not the best. But one alternative is that maybe the objective used to be a lot more complicated, and they were playtesting it and then realized that the idea of like a timer in the form of that ritual was already too much pressure on the player, and then it kind of ruined a lot of it, so then they had to scale back and make it easier. Or maybe they just ran out of time to do it all, and so they had to scale back what their plans were for this mission. But yeah, all in all, kind of a disappointing section. Cool parts of this mission, but not the best. Some stats, pretty short mission. Most of the other Thief missions have been usually taking an hour or an hour and a half. If you play this yourself, you can totally take your time, and it's probably not uncommon for you to spend like 1 or 2 hours on each mission. But here I was taking my time and making a lot of tour guide stops and pointing at lava rooms, and still it was only 40 minutes altogether. So that's the end of Thief. Little bit of a fart. At least I found all the loot. Thank you. Right? I'm really good at Thief. Took us about 17 hours altogether to finish this game. Fairly long for a long, like, single-player mission-based first-person game. Now let's continue and I guess watch this ending cinematic. So let's talk about what meaning can we get from playing this. Let's see. I feel like some general lessons and thoughts from playing through all of Thief involve, let's see, the level design is still holding up in a lot of places because the complexity of the level design like still holds up. The graphics might not necessarily hold up, but the color palettes and some of the styling of Thief, especially that Opera House mission, especially, just really gorgeous.
I think I've got my eye back.
Yet still, you are blind.
If you hadn't noticed, I just saved the world, yourself included.
As we knew you
So that's
would,
me, the cynical
as it had to
player
be.
protagonist,
Now I remember
talking
why I
back
left
to my
Keepers.
mentors.
And I remember why we let you go.
What do you want from me? Have you come to congratulate me? Welcome me back to the fold?
Very well. I will speak my piece plainly. You have accomplished that which was written, and yes, you've done it well. But there is no place for you with us any longer. Yet you will have a great need of us. And so
Check out that parallax in the
I don't think
background.
so.
Really nice animation.
I'm through with heroics. And with your kind as well.
you cannot run from life as you did from us, Garrett. Life has a way of finding you, no matter how artistic a sneak you are. Listen.
Tin
there is a
Kelp
book
asks,
that
was
you
this
were not made
filmed?
aware of.
The way they did the
I hate to
cinematics in
tell you that
Thief
it would be
was
wise
a
for
lot
you
of
to
it
read
is
it now.
painterly, but then when there's a
Still
live
read
action
my lips.
silhouette,
Do try to forget.
that's
you
like
keepers
filmed
leave
against the
them everywhere
screen.
for me.
So that
You
helps
have
them
more friends than you know.
kind of
Tell my
make
friends
cheaper
that I don't need
cinematics, I
their
guess.
secret book, or their glyph warnings, or their messengers. Tell them I'm through. Tell them it's over. Tell them Garrett is done.
Garrett is done.
I will tell them this. Nothing has changed. All is as it was written. The trickster is dead. Beware the dawn of the metal.
Oh god, and I
age.
love this like city scene too. If you look at Thief 3 like tries to recreate a lot of this like feeling of like misty silhouettes in the distance and doesn't really succeed, but this is like an eternal dream of, I feel like, Thief fan mission designers. They're always trying to get that 90s industrial music vibe, but also, you know, that like misty silhouette of the city in the background vibe. So that's the end of Thief. Other last thoughts about Thief? There were a lot of missions we played where there was like a cool like fake out on it, where we think the mission's gonna be one thing, and then it turns out to be this other thing. And that's a rarely used structure in first-person games today. I wish we would go back to that more often too. Like, just the idea that a video game might surprise us just feels so rare, I feel like. But anyway, that was Thief Gold. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, people in the chat are asking what should I play in the future. Usually I like alternating between big long games and then shorter games, so I think I'm gonna do some kind of like short indie, more like indie cult classic game. Not that Thief wasn't a cult classic either, but I think I don't know. Okay, well, to speak to my love of surprise, gonna leave you on a cliffhanger. The only way to find out what I'm gonna play is tuning in next week and seeing what I choose. But it's probably gonna be some kind of small, short-ish game. And then maybe after that, probably not Thief 2. I think I want to take a break from Thief for a little bit. And maybe like a Deus Ex, or maybe like a Prey or something like that. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe System Shock 2 to continue the Dark Engine trend. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. And oh, and then one last bit of news. 7-Day FPS is going on right now. If you like these streams where I talk about the level design in first-person games, definitely check out 7-Day FPS this weekend. It ends this weekend. A lot of cool first-person games you're going to see, and trying a lot of different new things with the first-person format, especially with level design as well. So check that out when it concludes this weekend. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and see you next week for the surprise reveal of the next game I play. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.